Hello, this is Goto. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions. We're like getting close to episode 40 or something. Amazing. Um, I'm doing like quite a lot of on-camera stuff. Not too much like off-camera, but oh, look at that. It's time to eat our feast, and our hunger bar is fully filled. Love to see it. Anyways, today, let me just quickly go over what I did last time. So, I did some touch-ups in the diesel section over there. I'm not going to go walk over it, but you can see I brought in a logistic pipe to hook up the diesel output to the logistic network via a fluid provider pipe, and then I also got some barrels set up here to catch all of the um, centrifuge byproducts. And then this methane generator I had put down here that burns the methane that the mineral crystals make. There was some kind of problem in it. Somehow um, I ended up getting mineral resin in it, and I was like, I don't know how that happened. So I changed the filter on it. It was set to filter on fill, which I thought means filling into the machine, but maybe it means going out of the machine. I'm not really too sure, but I just set it filter on drain, which means it's going to filter the fluid regardless if it's going in or out. So only methane is allowed in there now, and only mineral resin is allowed in here. Should fix that. Other things I did, let's see, diesel touch-ups. Aluminum has gone crazy. Like, yeah, this is just like full now. And I have this set to avoid silicon and sodium, because those are kind of like, it's making more than we're really going to need anytime soon. Lithium is okay. We don't need that much lithium. I mean, we don't need 3,000 lithium, certainly. But yeah, this is just currently like, it's kind of done, to be honest. So we could like turn this off if we wanted to. In fact, it looks like it's off now, so what's that noise? Oh, our sifting machine is running. Railgar ore. I forgot I put that in here. Anyways, so we have aluminum out the wazoo, and last night before I went to bed, I put just a ton down here to process, and oh my gosh, look at that. We sure do have some aluminum ingots here. Let's see if we can get that into our storage. I stepped into a steam pipe. Love that for me. Alright. I don't have a great way to do this because my inventory is rather full. I'm just going to do it like a very janky, sloppy way. But we will get this aluminum to our storage. Here we go. Get it in our deposit chest. Alright. Yep. That was no aluminum was sloppily handled and thrown around our factory. No, sir. Or madam. So yeah, we got aluminum out the wazoo now. I also made a cave illuminator. Cave illuminator is an astral sorcery block, and you can see it's over there. It's that little yellow rectangle that's off in the distance. Kind of hard to see when you get a little closer, I guess. The reason I put it over here is because I was mining some ruby ores. This is a redstone vein, which contains ruby, so I put it up here. And what this does is basically when there is... I'm going to take it back with me now. When there is a space of darkness underground, like anywhere underground below this block, it, I'll just stick it like here, I guess is fine. Oop, it was a little laggy when I placed it. It basically goes and fills in any spaces where there's darkness with these illumination powder puffs that kind of light everything up. So you can see over here, I also expanded our basement a bit. This is in preparation of our... what's going to be our chemistry and probably ore processing area is going to go over here. But you can see I haven't put any candles or torches down here, but these little illumination powders came and filled the space. Some people don't like that. I'm okay with it. I'm not like a big snob on the aesthetics of my own base personally, if you haven't really noticed. But like, I don't mind that because I don't mind there being, like, torches and stuff. Or I don't really like managing torches and stuff, so I don't mind if there's automated light sources being thrown all over the place. As long as they're not, like, excessive, and they're not. So there's the cave illuminator we talked about. Sheep. Okay, so I ended up going and culling some of our sheep because it was kind of, they were kind of a lot over here, and it was kind of lagging it up. So what I ended up doing is I made a pedestal from the reliquary mod, and it looks like it's empty, but what happens is if you put a shear on this pedestal and then you provide it with a redstone signal, it will start automatically shearing sheep that are around it. And then I made a vacuumulator, which is a vacuum chest from thermal expansion, and attach it to a barrel. So there we go. There's wool out the wazoo over here for us. And I culled a bunch of sheep because sheep are kind of laggy. Which brings us to the next thing I put on my list. I went and installed the mod called lag goggles because I was noticing some issues in the server time. So if you go /forge TPS, it will give you a summary of here's all the dimensions that are currently running and how much time the game is currently taking to process them. So right now, the game is currently processing all of my dimensions 9 milliseconds per tick, which is good. We want to maintain a ticks per second of 20, which means our maximum tick time we can have is 50. So if things get like 5 times slower, we're gonna start dropping ticks basically, and the game's gonna be running slower than it should be. So one thing that helps with this is this mod called Lag Goggles, and I'm just going to do a really quick preview here of what it looks like when you run it. This is just doing a quick 5-second profile, and it goes and it checks like, hey, all of the blocks around here, how much time are you using to update? And then in the world, it will display, hey, here's all of your laggy things in the world. So right now, like this, you can see this Everfull urn we have over here. It has a time of 300 microseconds. Yeah, that's microsecond. So that's that by itself is causing quite a bit of lag, but I mean it's not a significant amount. It's just one thing. And we go over to our sheep. Each of these sheep are costing 120, 140, somewhere around 120 to 140. And we had like so many sheep over there. I killed so many of them, and now we have way less. And what's over here? Is this the tree beacon that's causing a lot over here? Yeah, tree beacon's causing 65 microseconds. That's not too bad. But anyways, this is going to be something I can use to diagnose if things in the factory start getting really bad. These, let me go outside again. These are chunks being highlighted here in the sky. So these 3 chunks, this is where my base is located, right? It's located along these 3 chunks mostly. Those are being marked as high lag, but I mean, that's kind of makes sense. It's where all my stuff is, right? We can see all of the logistic pipes make a little lag on their own. And yeah, that's the lag goggles mod, and I probably won't be showing too much unless we like get some kind of major lag wall going on. We'll go ahead and hide the result. There's also a place where you can go and you can look at it by entity, so you can see the laggiest thing in the server right now is all of the sheep we have. There are 20% of the entity, 20% of the lag on the server is coming from sheep. 10,000 microseconds. Is this micro or nano? I don't know. But you can see sheep are doing quite a lot. Then it lists all of the individual entities. There's some trolls hanging out over here. They're just trolling my update time. Here's all of our logistic pipes, etc. Here's a bunch of, what are these called over here? These are like event threads. Those are like scripting kind of things. Anyways, we're not going to be looking too much at that. I just wanted to mention that I made it. And then the last thing is chemistry prep and test world prep. So between last episode, the first time I've done this for this series so far, I actually went into a test world and I started like tinkering with some stuff. Because for our chemistry setup, I want to make sure it works and it works right and it's not horrible to maintain and use and etc. So first of all, prep. What does prep mean? I went down here and I added some blocks down here. So barrel was from over there when I set up oil processing, and that was with barrel as well. Void and trash can were with the barrels. But I made all of these blocks over here because we're going to be using them for our chemistry setup. So portable tanks, that's what we're going to be storing our chemistry fluids in, and gases, etc. And servo is just used to make the tanks. The hardened upgrade and the reinforced upgrade, I know it's kind of hard to read, but that's what those are up there. Those are going to be used to upgrade our tanks. And then these fluid reader, redstone writer, and output variables are for actually going to be logic related to controlling our machines, because we don't just want to make our machines run willy-nilly. Also over here, I upgraded a few more things in our extruder / MV machines. I added a couple more gears. So here we can make silver gears and steel gears? No, which is the one I added, though? Electrum gears? I added a few gears over here. We're not going to be using all of them immediately. We might use them at some point. And I hooked up the advanced alloy smelter and the compressor, advanced compressor over here. Advanced compressor is one I made. And I have the advanced compressor making iron blocks and redstone blocks. Because I know we had a compressor over here, but it's steam, and I'm like, we're going to be upgrading to, we're going to be imminently upgrading to, what's it called? MV machines here. It's kind of on the docket. So I wanted to go ahead and start scaling our machines up to MV. Probably between episodes, I'm going to work on taking all of this stuff and making it MV machines. So I'm not going to leave the LV stuff here. I might move some LV machines down here and just have like some LV manual processing, or I know circuit assembler is one we need to hold on updating, because the MV circuit assembler actually needs HV circuits. It needs high voltage circuits, so we're not going to be able to upgrade that immediately. But yeah, without further ado, let's get on to today's stuff. Chemistry. And this isn't next time, this is this time. So this time we are doing chemistry. So first, let me show you the fruits of our labor. And I'm going to pop over here into... We're going to go to MS Paint, Microsoft Paint, yay. So this is a quick diagram of basically how stuff is going to work. So we're going to have some kind of machine producing products. We're going to call them producers. And they are going to be creating stuff, for lack of a better term. And essentially, we're going to need to store said stuff. And we need to store it in a way that's not going to conflict. Because some of the stuff we generate, it's going to create other things that we might not need. So, for example, we are going to be producing hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. We're going to be producing those directly out of stuff. So let me go back to our game really quick. If we look at, we're going to be using chickens where applicable. So if we look at chicken, actually it's just called gassy chicken, right? Yeah, so the gassy chicken produces gassy eggs, and the gassy eggs we can put in the chemical reactor. We can get hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, CO2. We don't really need CO2 yet. We might need it in the future, but I might just build it anyways. We can also put it in a centrifuge, and we can get nitrogen, oxygen, helium, and argon instead of hydrogen. And we still get the carbon dioxide when we put it in a centrifuge. But as you can see, like in this process here, if we want helium and argon, we're going to have to get a lot of extra carbon dioxide, oxygen, and nitrogen, and we're going to have to do something with that. We can throw it in a trash can, we can store it, but we will have to do something with it. Otherwise, though, we're going to be able to directly create hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide in a one-off process. But if we need argon and helium when we need it, we're going to need to figure something out for that. So here's how this is going to work. Essentially, oh, back to paint. Whoops. Okay, so essentially, when we have direct products, those are going to go straight into our storage. So this little drum I drew represents our storage. And our storage is going to be partitioned into 3 sections. We're going to have the direct production and byproduct production area. So that is down here. So this is going to be stuff that we produce directly from the machines. And it's going to fill up until, and get a different brush. We're going to fill it up until we get up to this threshold of direct production. So when we reach the threshold of direct production, we want to send a signal over to our machines. Well, let's not do crayon. It's ugly. What have we got here? Let's just do marker. Marker is fine. Let me make it not as thick. What do I usually use? I just use brush normally? Yeah, okay. So we're going to need to send a signal to our machine. Hey, you have reached the threshold of direct production. Turn off this production line. And the way we're going to be doing that is using integrated dynamics. I'm going to go more into that in a second, but let me talk about what else is going to happen. So once we're at the threshold of direct production, these productions are going to turn off, but there still might be something that is producing stuff. For example, if we are taking salt water, let me get my big marker back now. If we are doing salt water over here, salt water creates chlorine and hydrogen. It's going to be the primary way we're going to get chlorine, but then what are we going to do with that hydrogen? Well, we're going to have to do something with it. And that's where this space up here comes in. So we have left a byproduct overflow where basically stuff that is being generated as a byproduct can also go in and fill our tank. Byproducts can also come down here when the green tank is empty, or the green portion of the tank is empty, and it can work on also filling in our direct production area as well. So it kind of boosts the direct production, but once direct production is full, it's filling in byproduct. And then let's just say our byproduct overflow is now full. Well, we still need to produce chlorine. So anything additional that gets generated, it's going to go up here into the overflow void. And anything that's in the overflow void is just going to get instantly deleted. So let me show you how we're going to be doing this in game. Back in game now. So we have these tanks. Oh, and let's say I was in the middle of making some conversion kits here. That's going to be for our tanks. But let's go ahead and grab 2 tanks. And then, do we have a trash? Let me make a trash really quick. Need a fluid trash. I hope we have a bucket in storage. Okay, we did have a bucket in storage. Oh, we have 20 buckets right here. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I forgot I made this. So this is how our stuff is going to work over here. Let me wait for this to finish crafting. I'll be back in like 1 second once that's done. Okay, both of our tanks just made it back. So this is how we're going to have our storage set up. We're going to have portable tanks. And one interesting thing about portable tanks is that if you stack them on top of each other, they become a combined tank where any fluid you put on top, let me see, where's a bucket of water? Grab a bucket from our unending bowl there. When you put fluids up here, they go down there. And if you fill this up, do I have a spare unending bowl? Actually, I don't want to do this. Oh, here, I can take the empty cell. If you fill this up all the way, so you can see we're at 19 buckets down here. If we take a bucket number 20, we're at 20 buckets and down there. This one is still empty. And we put another bucket in here. Look at that. It goes up into the upper tank. So we can essentially create a threshold here for where, hey, when this tank is above the bottom tank, we can void this. So this can become a void on top. So let me get a fluid, ender fluid conduit. We're going to need some more of these very soon. So anything that's up here, we can extract, and it doesn't extract from the bottom. So that's the key, is that once there is fluid in this bottom side that goes up into the overflow, boom, it's just done. So that's handling, if we go back to paint, that's handling our red section over here. But how do we make this green section? Well, the green section is going to be a little bit more complicated because we essentially need to read what's in this tank and then tell the machine, hey, the tank is X% full, turn everything off. And the way we're going to be doing that is using integrated dynamics. Anybody who's used this mod is probably like, oh shit, stuff's about to get real. So first of all, I made some of the integrated dynamics things we're going to be needing. And I'm just going to do a quick demo now, and then I will set it up for real. But essentially how this is going to work, oh, and we need some reader. We're going to use a fluid reader. We need a water bucket, huh? I taught my system how to make buckets, like empty buckets, but I need to figure out how to make a water bucket. Hold on one second. At logistic pipe, fluid supplier pulls fluids from a logistic fluid pipe. Is there like a container supplier? Uses buckets or other fluid containers to fill the connected tank. That's not exactly what I need. How do you craft a full bucket of water? Hang on one second, okay? Okay, so I don't really see a direct way to create water buckets, so we are going to instead just be using a fluid tank. And let's get a chassis. We can do a Mark III chassis, sure, why not? And we need to put this somewhere. It doesn't really need to be anywhere like conspicuous, because we're just going to be using this tank to turn stuff into other stuff, which is like probably the funniest statement of all time, considering what game we're playing. But let's see. I'm going to need 2 of these, so let me just craft a set of 8 of those really quick. Let me get some of this junk out of my inventory while we're waiting for that. So how we're gonna make buckets of water? Let me just we can throw those down here. You know, this can be like its own little crafting table down here. Honorary crafting table, the fluid tank. Except I just realized it's gonna need 2 connections, so maybe that's not a good place for it. It needs a fluid satellite as well. Fluid satellite. I think it would be okay right here on this corner. Sure, why not? Let me wait for stuff to finish crafting so items don't get lost. Although, hang on, this loops up and comes down around there. So this should be safe to break right here, I believe. It should not get angry if I break these. Okay, and then we are going to need our chassis pipe and our fluid satellite. Okay. And, whoops, this is going to go here. We're going to put our chassis pipe there, connecting to our tank. Why are you red? No modules installed. Oh, that's fine. Are you still red, though? Okay, there we go. It must have just been a visual glitch. We are going to put a crafting module in here, and we are going to tell this crafting module, hey, you're going to put a bucket in here, and you're going to get a water bucket. And you're also going to have a satellite here. We're just going to call this fluid tank. I know, right? Very creative. We're going to need our module upgrades now. Doop doop. So one of this is going to go on the chassis pipe. That's going to allow us to put modules in here with this. And we're going to chisel the other one into a fluid crafting upgrade. And then we're going to put the fluid crafting upgrade in here. So now we can go in here and we can say, hey, we need to get fluid tank, water, and a bucket worth of water. And now we should be able to request a bucket of water. Water. I just realized we had those eggs in here. Water egg. Why is that not a searchable thing? Anyways, we now have water egg. This turns into fresh water. Okay, we couldn't use that anyways. I just wanted to double check. So now, ta-da, we made a water bucket with our system automatically. And now we can get our fluid reader. It's missing variable cards. Let me just stick a few in there. Wait for it to get to storage. There it goes. Here's our fluid reader. Also, we're going to be using these reinforced conversion kits to upgrade our lower tank to a bigger size. So this now holds 180 buckets of water, or of any fluid, but right now it has water in it, right? And we can also enchant these to hold even more. We'll get into that a little later, probably. For now, I'm just going to do the base setup, I think. I don't know. We might want to enchant them before we go. I'll see. Anyways, is our fluid reader ready? It is not ready. What is it doing? It is making the input card transformer. What are you doing? Did I screw something up here? Because it says it's making the input variable transformer. It work? Wait, what? Yeah, that's correct. What's going on here? This inventory is empty. It has taken an OR dictionary of that. We have to tell it to ignore damage. Whoops. Yeah, this is not happy about what we've asked it to do for some reason. Even though I thought I have this set up correctly. Hold on. Troubleshooting. Okay, after some testing, I found out that these pipes do not actually seem to play nice with the, what's it called? These things, the fuzzy upgrades, so I'm going to be taking those out, unfortunately, and I guess when we actually upgrade our circuits, I'm going to have to go around and manually update the recipes that are using circuits, which aren't too many, luckily, so... Yeah, vacuum tube was over here. LV circuits over there. Not too bad, only a few spots here and there. But yeah, we'll have to update those manually once we actually update them all. Let me see. Okay, our crafting requests are cleared up. Let me empty out what was over there. Okay. So I was in the middle of demonstrating this over here. So what we're going to be doing with this, first of all, integrated dynamics. If you do not know, it is a powerful mod which is very complicated and kind of hard to use. But what you can do is you can attach these readers and writers, and it allows them to do various things. So in this fluid reader, we can get a bunch of properties about a fluid tank that this fluid reader is looking at. For example, we can get how much fluid is currently in here. We can get how much capacity this tank has. We can get the current ratio of how full the tank is. Right now, the tank is 0.11111, repeating, of course. 0.11 ratio full, or in other words, it's 11% full. We can see what's in it. It has water in it, 20 buckets of water. And yeah, what we're going to be using this for is, essentially, we want to set a limit of, if I go back to my paint really quick, we're going to be setting this orange line limit of how full we want the tank to be. And then if it is below that line, we're going to give a signal to the machines to turn on. And if it's above that line, we're going to cut the signal so that they're not running. And we're going to do that for anything relevant that we have like a constant production of going. So I will demonstrate more once we get downstairs and set it up. It's just a wrench situation. Yeah, it's a wrench situation. And wow, why did it throw my thing like across the room? That was rude. All right. And how do we empty this tank? I guess fluid trash can? Oh, great. It empties one bucket at a time. Thank you. All right, that wasn't inconvenient or anything. Also gonna need gassy chicken, so let's really quickly look up what the recipe for that is. Ooh, gelid cryothium. Why is it 1008 millibuckets? Excuse me? Oh, it's 7 of these. Okay, that's not so weird, I guess. Okay, so I guess first thing we're going to need is to make some gelid cryothium. And we're going to need a chemical bath, MV chemical bath. Let's go ahead and order one of those up. Chemical bath. Chemical. If I can spell chemistry, I can spell chemical bath. Okay, here we go. Go ahead and order that up. Oh, most of this stuff should like be ready to go actually, so I would not expect us to be waiting too long on this stuff. So I can put those away. Anything else here I can put away? So I kind of move some stuff around. I hear the extruder over there making the pipe for the pump. All right, there's our advanced chemical bath. We're also going to need that for cooling ingots initially, so I think that's why it kind of did that. I'm just going to hook it up to our MV machines for now. I'm going to reorganize this probably like between episodes. I'm going to reorganize it, so if this is like stressing you out, Don't worry. I got you. Okay. Mana Steel. Plop, and then plop. Okay. So we need Cryotheum. Okay, well, Cryotheum we're going to be able to get from a cold biome. We're going to need to find a Blizz. So I'm going to do a very sketchy thing of going out into the world. Let me put some of the stuff I don't really need on me away really quick. Not in here, though, because this chest is getting very full. Let's stick it in here. Do we have more tanks in here? We do not. I was like, these aren't stacking. We should really put them somewhere. Fluid reader, we're fine. We don't need these pipes. We don't need that stuff. Okay, that's probably good enough for now. We don't need any of that stuff. Let's get our straw so we can go drink some liquid starlight. And then just gonna go kind of raw dog it in the cold bio without any armor. I guess I know what raw dogging means. Here we go. There's our night vision. Where's our glider? All right, we are going to the cold biome, which is going to be... I think we might... I don't know. I was thinking we might do better in the forest because then there's more cover for things, but cover for things also means there's more spaces for said things to hide in, so... While I'm on my way there, I'm just going to munch on some chicken nuggies. Okay, so we are looking for little blaze-looking guys that are blue. They're called blitzes. Blizz? No, they're not blitzes. Blizzes. Blitz are the ones that are in the desert. So here we go. Where are we going exactly? Ice Plains. Okay, so behind this mountain should be an Ice Plains. And I'm probably gonna die. Hopefully not, but probably. Alright, here we go. Really, like, as long as I can stay away... Oh, those are not what I'm looking for. Those are basalts, I think. We need the blue ones. But really, as long as we can stay away from, like, skeletons, those are our biggest threat. Like, how far are they shooting us from? Jeez, leave me alone. Alright, we're just gonna kind of cruise along here and see if we can't find a blizz. I'm gonna cut the camera since there's not really terribly much going on, so be back shortly. Alright, now we are in a snow downfall. Oh my gosh, what was that? Sea serpent? No thank you. No thank you, I'm good. He is landing over here. Anyways, I'm sure YouTube, like, loves the snow on the screen. If you can even see anything over here, it probably looks horrible. There's a troll, no thank you for that. It's about to be daytime, and we've still not found our blizz, so we might need to figure out a different way to source our blizz. I'm kind of wondering if maybe they don't spawn, or maybe they're only going to spawn in special dungeons. Oh gosh. So, yeah, I'm thinking here we're just going to stop once I find a kind of safe place to hang out and use the home command. Alright, yeah, we did a pretty wide sweep there. I went all the way up here and no blizzes, so let's just go ahead and slash home and figure out what we're going to do for gassy chicken. And if, you know, honestly, if we can't get gassy chicken, we're going to have to use the good old-fashioned way of getting hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, which is from the air and from water. You know, H2O. The H is for hydrogen, and the O is for oxygen. Just FYI, you know. Okay, so gassy chicken. So we need cryotheum. Okay, there is a quest reward over here, but we cannot get over there, so... I mean... You know, low-key, maybe we can. No, this is like a lot of junk. Never mind, we can't get over there. Not yet, anyways. Unless, like, I don't know what the dependency on what this quest is here. And the other one is Primal Chicken. We definitely can't craft that, yeah. HV Mixer and Vitriolic Copper Sulfate. Yeah, we can't make that. Blizz Powder is going to be our next solution. Primal Chicken Egg, of course. So Blizz Powder from Blizz Rods. Any other source of Blizz Rod? We get H from making a vacuum freezer, but we can't make that yet. And let me see. We can't make that yet, though. Oh, hold on. We could do this. We can do this, actually. Okay, snowballs. Snowballs we can make. We can make / go dig them up because we have a lot of snow around our base. Let's go get some snow. Alright, here we go. Here's some snow for us. Yoink. Just dig it with our drill. That should be enough. Go back to home. Alright, so to make snowballs into Blizz Powder, we're going to need Liquid XP or Essence of Knowledge. It's all the same, apparently, so I guess we could just use, like, should just be able to use a bucket of this stuff. And then, what does it go into? Chemical bath. You know what? We're going to go use our MV chemical bath. Because, yeah, we just made it. So why wouldn't we? So that's going to give us some Blizz Powder. Awesome. And now we need to combine this with Snowball. Brine. Oh, we don't have brine set up. This might take a bit. We might need kind of a few steps. But I would prefer to do this before, like... Sorry, I don't know why I decided to take a bite of food in the middle of eating, in the middle of talking. Anyways, I would prefer to do this before we go forward with doing chemistry, because this is going to save us a lot of time. So, brine. Okay, where is brine? Is brine in the chemistry chapter? Yes, it's right here, getting salty. So we're going to need something called a thermal evaporation tower. Love that. We're going to need one of those, and it's going to give you a bunch of thermal evaporation tower blocks, so we're actually not going to really need to make too much for this, actually. I think we can actually make all of this. Yeah, we have tempered glass. Thermal evaporation blocks. Okay, those are we're going to need. And that's fair. We're going to need like 9 of these. So bronze frame block. We're going to need to make more of these. So we're going to need 8 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what goes in there? A saw? No, you can't saw bronze. What am I talking about? Wrench? Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we just need to wait for the bronze to cook up and then turn into rods, and we'll have those done. Then for each of those, we're going to need 2 steel plates. So steel plate, we're going to need a total of 18 of those. I'm going to go help the alloy smelter and the lathe be a little faster. Is this the lathe over here? You see like this little thread the needle I just did in here to get to the lathe? That's so silly. Okay, so start crafting these guys up, and we can put those together in the assembling machine. That's also going to need to be sped up. This is quite slow over here. Whoops, I didn't mean to take the rods out. We can speed it up more because there's a battery in there. And just waiting on one more rod to come, and we are going to be set on this guy. Yoink. Okay. Whoops, I did not mean to put the battery into my hotbar on accident. Okay. Perfect. There's our 9 thermal evaporation blocks. Now we should be able to make this. And then we also want one more circuit. Okay. I guess I'll go ahead and just order one circuit separately while the other stuff arrives. And then we can make the evaporation valve. Though if I'm recalling correctly, we're going to want multiple valves, so in order to heat the evaporation tower to create brine and lithium, you'll need a valid heat source. So, what is a Mr. American chicken? Oh, okay. Okay, lithium I'm good on. Elemental dust is kind of what we're here for, though. So let's do a resistive heater. Whoops. We're gonna also need another valve. I think we're gonna need a total of a valve that can be placed on thermal evaporation plant allows for fluids to be inserted and extracted. Isn't there another thermal? External heat must be provided to the structure. I thought you also have to pump heat in through the valve as well. So I think we're going to need two valves. Um, we'll see in a moment, I guess. Let's get one more circuit over here. And hopefully we didn't make too many of them. And then we're also going to need a water source for this. How's our water source situation doing here? We have our bowl up here. This bowl is only providing to... See, this bowl is providing to something. I'm going to change, though, the cables here really quick because we can take one of these bowls away if we're a little smarter with our fluid situation here. So let's get a fluid provider pipe. Get some pipes in here. And then let's go up here. Let's remove this bowl. Oh, and there's a pump here I forgot about. Let's use the crowbar, get the pump off of there. And let's pick the pump up. And I'm just going to tell the fluid provider, which is still crafting. Okay. Sorry, I thought it would be done sooner. Jeez. There it is. Get up here. Okay. So this is a basic. This is unrouted. Let's make this one basic so it is routed properly. Let's go ahead and tell this to... Oh, not provider. We need requester. Not requester. What is it? Fluid. Basic pipe, provider pipe, satellite pipe, fluid supplier. What is the one we need? Fluid. Pulls fluids from a pipe. Do we not have these? Oh, we do have that. Why was it not fluid? Was it like there the whole time and I was like just blind? I don't know. Anyways, we'll put a fluid provider on top of that bowl there. And we're going to get rid of this provider. We're going to put a supplier here. Put a basic over there. And now we're just going to tell it, hey, give me, like, I don't know, 4 buckets of water, and yes, allow partial. So this will always keep 4 buckets of water in there. And that was a lot to just get one bowl of infinite water. Why did I want this again? For the brine, yes, okay. So brine, I forget how the heating tower works. I don't know if you need this to be external. Let me, like, look this up really quick, because I don't think there's yeah, there's not a building guide in here for mechanism. Hold on. I'm gonna be right back while I look up what the structure is. I know it's like a 4x4 by however tall you want it, but, like, I don't know if it needs to be outside or clear view of the sky or anything, so I'll be right back. Okay, took a quick minute to look that up. So it doesn't appear to need to be, like, exposed to the sky or anything, so I think we're just gonna go ahead and like build it down here in our basement. And I'm not gonna build it in the middle of stuff. I'm gonna build it like, let's see, let's do it like over here in this wall. So it needs to be a 4 by something, so that is not the correct tool. Let me swap that for a regular hammer. I don't even know where I got like a thaumium hammer from. That must have came from my work table or something. You'd be doing really janky digging over here. Okay, so here is a 4 by 4 hole for us to start. It is 4 by 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, and then it has a 2 by 2 inside. So the base has to be made entirely of these blocks. And then going up, we will have to basically just make a bowl of these guys. And we can, I don't know how tall we can make this with this many blocks, but we're going to have the controller, and then I'm going to put a valve. We'll put heat in one of these, and then for one of the other ones is where we're going to put and extract fluids, I guess. And then we can build up with the rest of the blocks we have. Okay, thank you for the light source. So each one of these layers is going to be 4 plus 4 plus 4, so it's 12. We can do one more layer. And technically on the top layer, we do not need the corners. Let's see, put a valve here, put this here. We don't need the corners up here, like we could just do a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and build this up one taller, but like I didn't build enough of those evaporator blocks. Maybe I'll make more later and at least stick this up through into the ceiling. But anyways, let's go. So we need water first. There, get hydrated, son. No, let's get some water and then let's get a tank for it as well. Brine, I believe it's only made by this, so it's not something we need to have that whole byproduct and overflow for. So just a regular old tank will be fine, I think. Yeah, a regular tank will be fine. Let's get a tank. Let's get one of these tanks, and then let's do an upgrade. Let's make it a hardened tank. I think that holds 60 buckets, or 30 or 40 or something. It holds some fair amount of buckets. So that's just going to take a second over here while I guess it needs to go craft the bronze first. Alright, bronze is done. Speed this up a notch. I was like, oh no, I sped it up too much, but it's okay. It has a battery in there. Thermal evaporation coils, huh? Yeah, I'll make some more of those at some point. Not right now, though. Right, there's our tank and an upgrade kit. And I will need a fluid conduit, an ender fluid conduit. Oh, and I didn't make the resistive heater, did I? Let's go ahead and make that as well. Does it need a small sodium battery specifically? I mean, it's not letting me scroll through other options, so I guess let's find a sodium battery. Here we go. There. Whoops, not that one. There you go. Request the stuff. We should have most of that stuff actually already available, so it's really just doing the wires, I think, is what it needs to do. Yep, wires are over there in the wire mill currently. Here they come. Go down to the crafting table in the basement. Here they come back up from the crafting table. Whee! And got our resistive heater. And with our resistive heater, it also gives us a reward of some heat pipes. Conductor. Which, honestly, I don't know that we really need the heat pipes. I think we can just stick the resistive heater directly against the front of the valve. And this screen slot is where it outputs, so turn it over there. Nope, no. Okay, does it output on both sides? It outputs on both sides. Okay, so turn it that way. And then... What is this? Oh, this is the one we have to provide power to. Whoops, I made the wrong one. I didn't mean to make this one. I mean, well, maybe we'll use that one at some point, but I meant to make the one for, there's just the wood burning one. That's my bad. Here, this one, the firewood burner. Yeah, that's... It takes a lithium battery for some reason? Like, okay. I don't know why, but sure. And I guess I'll go steal a lithium battery from one of my machines. Who's been least enjoying their battery? Here, chemical bath. You're my battery now. Whoops. Alright, once again, it's just making the red alloy wire, I'm pretty sure. There goes the wire into the basement. Gonna turn into the wire, coming back up. I love watching that stuff. Okay, resistive fuel wood heater. So this has the output, doesn't appear to have an output. Appears to output on any side, going off how these cables want to connect to it anyways. What is this weird breaking shape on that? Wow. Okay. Let's go back down here. So we should just be able to plug this in. And then it should start making heat if we give it some fuel. But first, we need some water. So let's go ahead and do this. This is where our brine is going to live, in that tank. And I did not actually get my ender conduit. Good job, me. I am very prepared and organized. Ender fluid conduit. Connect that. Evaporation valve. Okay, yeah. This should connect in there. Do I need to explicitly connect it for some reason? Why do you not want to connect? This is a fluid conduit, yes. Does it need to be at a different level? Does it, like, need to be on top? I don't think so. Wait, where did I get 2 of these? I thought I only had 1 of them. Gee. Does it need to go over here? I don't know. I'm a little confused on why this is not letting me connect a fluid conduit into it. Let's see. Can I put fluid directly via, like, a bucket? Not that I have a bucket, but... Yeah, I can drink some water, though. No, I can't drink water from the bowl. Darn. Troubleshooting this. This is, like, definitely formed, right? Does it actually not work with these in the corners? Oops, and I managed to punch a hole in my infrastructure there. What is wrong with this? Does it actually need a clear view of the sky? Sky. Yo, what is this thing's problem? I wish there was, like, some feedback in here telling me what is wrong. I'm gonna go borrow this and take it outside to see if that's the problem. Let's go up. I swear, if it doesn't work because it's not outside, I'm gonna be miffed because nothing on the wiki page for this block says it has anything to do with needing to be outside. Okay, so it needs to be a minimum height of 3. So this is a height of 3. I mean, this looks no different than it did inside. Okay, oh, it did something there. No, it's working. What the heck? Did I like have it built wrong? Am I crazy? I think I'm just crazy, probably. It's okay. Let's see. We can... I was gonna say we can use our building one thingy. Except it doesn't let us select those, so never mind, we can't use that. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I guess the simple version does not allow for those holes in the corner, so if I had a hole and I wasn't paying attention, that might have been what my problem was. I've also made it too tall. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't care about this light being in here. Alright, controller, valve, yes, thank you. Jeez, oh man. Okay, and now I assume the fluid conduit does recognize that. Okay, so we are going to insert water on cyan because cyan is blue and water is blue. And then we're going to take brine out on yellow for the same reason. All right, over here we're going to insert on yellow. That's where our brine is going to come out. This isn't going to extract anything, and this is our water going to extract on cyan. There we go. This is now filling up with water, and it is producing brine. It actually makes it very slowly, so you can see here, here's the water filling up, but the brine production is so slow, it's making 0.03 millibuckets per tick. So that's like 2 seconds for 1 millibucket. See how slow this is? 12, 13. All right, so we're gonna help that now. So let's put our fuel wood heater. We're just gonna stick it directly there. I think that's gonna work. And this is basically a fuel-fed heater. So I can just burn anything I want in there. And one thing that we have a lot of is charcoal and coke. But you know what? Instead, I'm going to torture myself and come here and grab some saplings. Because these are really a waste. Like, we don't do anything with these. We just void all of them. So let's see if we can get some use out of them. Never mind, you can't burn these saplings. I just remembered. Goodbye. What a fun lap around my base that was. Let's get, coke. 1 stack of coke. All right, and as we can see, here goes the temperature is shot up to 50 degrees Celsius, which seems kind of cold for burning cold coke, but... Oh, it's dumping it into here. Okay. And now we can see the temperature is going way up, way up, actually. And the production rate of brine is going way up. So now you can see how much we're making. And there we go. Brine is set. Brine is what we're going to be using for something. What are we using brine for? We can get salt out of brine. We're going to be using it for these elemental dusts. That's the main reason I got it for. But also, we can get salt water out of it. I think that's going to be our main use case, is either getting salt water or salt directly, and then we can electrolyze the salt. Kind of depends on whether we want a bunch of, let's see, sodium plus chlorine, because we can electrolyze this, right? Into chlorine plus sodium. So 2 salts equals 1 chlorine. So I mean, brine is like so cheap. Look how fast we're making it, right? We already have 32 buckets. So yeah, brine, we're not worried about how fast we're going to be using it. The other option is we centrifuge it into salt water, and then salt water we electrolyze into hydrogen, chlorine, and sodium hydroxide. Ooh, sodium hydroxide is something we're going to want. Possibly. But so is chlorine, so I'm going to have to figure this out. How else can we make sodium hydroxide? That's it. Okay, and I'm pretty sure we need this or something, right? We will need sodium hydroxide for phenol. Acetic acid if we need that for anything. Acetic acid for acetone, maybe. And for epichlorohydrin, which I think is for epoxid. Yeah, and here's bisphenol A with epichlorohydrin to make epoxid. So we will need sodium hydroxide at some point. So we might need like an item-based overflow as well. Not just fluids, but items too. We will figure that out when we get there. How about that? Anyways, we finally have so much brine that the water is building up in here. It's 3,000 degrees Celsius. Wow, that's kind of hot. Can we like survive in there if we jump up there? Yeah, probably. And now I have to break the structure to get out. It's okay though. It preserved all of its stats. All right. Let's grab some of this brine now. Grabbed 8 buckets. That should be good enough for the blizz that we need. We're gonna need some blizz powder. Should be done all over there. Wow, it actually did not finish the liquid XP. Okay, we'll need to go get some more snowballs probably. And what are we actually making this in? LV mixer. Don't I have an MV mixer? I do have an MV mixer. It's downstairs. And I think it's full of stuff. It's full of stuff. Okay, never mind. We can't we can't use that. LV mixer it is. So let's put some brine in here. Put our blizz powder, some snowballs, and we'll need some redstone. Let me just get a stack. Do we have more snowballs? No, I'm gonna need to go pick up some snowballs. Why don't I go do that while this is running? Where do we have more snow? I need to go outside because it's giving us cave view in here. We have a lot of snow on like the edge of our base. I guess that's like where the mobs can spawn. I wonder if breaking snow gives us what's it called, progress? Oh God, what is this? Oh God. Oh God, hang on. I need to screenshot this. This is hilarious. Hold up. Okay, so okay, I paused there and really quickly used my drill to break them because they, you know, they are like monster entities, and them just sitting there does actually generate lag. Anyways, grabbed a bunch of snowballs. We should be safe to slash home from here. And let's go put some of these snowballs. We can put like most of them in storage. I want to put one more stack over here with a chemical bath just to finish off that liquid XP. And then our stuff over here is done, I guess. Okay, did we make enough cryotheum? Yeah, we made enough cryotheum. Okay, well, I'll just put the rest of this away then. I didn't grab my cryotheum. There we go. Okay, cryotheum grabbed. Why did we need cryotheum again? I love this game. Gassy chicken, right? Gassy. So gassy chicken is MV chemical bath, 7 extracted cryotheum. So let's put 14 of this to go in our extractor. I know it's going to end up in our assembler, but I can just move it when it's done. And then we're going to need 2 smart chickens for the chemical bath. Come here, chickens. You're going to love this. Can we speed this up a little bit, maybe? Okay, there's the first set of cryotheum. And we can't put it in cells for some reason. I love that. Does it need to be like a higher tier cell? Like, what's the deal here? Oh, wrong thing. Yeah, no idea. It does not accept this fluid container, though. So, we're going to need a different kind of fluid container. Let's use... Can we use one of these, a portable tank? Ah, there we go. That worked. It's giving us a very strong weakness and slowness. That's okay, we only need to make it over here. Alright, pop that in there. Pop our chickens in there, and away they go. 50 seconds. Oh, that's gonna take a minute. Minus 10 seconds. Ha ha ha. I'm gonna come back once that's done, I think. So, be back soon. Actually, just looking at the time, it is getting to be quite up there in episode length. I hadn't really realized how long this one's going for. And, like, I haven't done anything over here yet besides set up the stupid brine tower. So I guess, gonna go ahead and stop this one here and kind of, like, probably, if I have time, I can continue recording right now and make the next session. But as far as episode-wise, I'm gonna put a split here in our episode. And that's where we're going to call it. If you're enjoying the series, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time where we continue this time on chemistry. Goodbye!